is Overpass Insights. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now today I want to talk about why when running your own company, many times you're either the bottleneck or the firefighter. Alright, so I spend a lot of time on this channel talking about Overpass as a company, right? We talk about, like sometimes I'll tell personal stories about job interviews or things that went wrong. We'll talk about stuff in the app markets, or we'll talk about ASO, but sometimes we just talk about what's going on with this company and what it's like running Overpass as a company, right? And when it comes to the company, there's two sides of it. We have our own applications, which is on the App Store, and I've covered those, how much money we make with apps, and it's dwindling, right? It requires a little bit more of attention because I've been focusing so much on the other side, which is client work. And when I talk about us as a company, it's a very, very small company. It's me, I have my overseas teams, I have lots of different companies that I work with, and there are times when, sometimes we take on a client project where it's just me coding it. And in fact, every time we take on a client project almost, I think, this looks like fun. I think I'd like to code this one myself. And then, logic kicks in. Or if logic doesn't kick in, if common sense doesn't kick in, my assistant, Rowena, will say, you don't have time to work on this at all. What are you talking about? You're too busy already as it is. And then I think, okay, that's right. We got to get some developers on, and we have lots of developers we work with. We got developers in the Philippines, in Vietnam, in India, and lots of other different places. So a lot of the times, there are times where I'm the developer, and there are times where I am the conduit in between. I kind of think of myself like as like a movie producer, right? I don't get the credit. I'm not the talent. I'm the one who just makes sure that everything gets done on time. The client has a requirement. Right? They may or may not know how to articulate it right. They may not know what's technically possible. So I meet with them. I draw up the plans and the architecture. The developers work on it. Developers might have questions. They might have problems. They come to me with that, or they might have questions of the client. Which and there's a lot of times it's just translating between the two of them. And I was once asked if I was, like somebody said, like a prospect called up because I don't mean to be rude or anything, but are you just like a middleman? And I thought, God, I so wish I was just a middleman. That would be ideal. That would be awesome if I didn't have to do anything in these projects. And there are days when everything just ticks along nicely. Like the developers are doing what they're doing. The clients are happy. Everything done. And then there's other times where just everything kind of goes wrong. Like today. Today I'm having one of those kind of days. Right? It's just oh my God, it's exhausting. Right? So running your own company where you hire other developers and you're dealing with clients, a lot of times you feel like you're squeezed in the middle, right? You're not just being the middleman, but like on really bad days, I'm either the bottleneck or I'm the firefighter. So I'm the bottleneck where, things aren't progressing, and then I find out, oh, we're waiting for Eric to come up with a solution to this, or we're waiting for Eric to answer a query, or we're waiting for this. I was like, okay, all right, I guess I'll have to look into this, right? And there's a firefighter. Like today we had a few different issues, which is I had to go and the developers had some issues, which somebody made a boneheaded mistake, which mistakes happen. I'm not gonna have a rant about it. I mean, if it was a constant, then I wouldn't mind. If it was like a really good developer just made a simple mistake and it's gonna cost us some time. So I had to go and give the bad news to the client, and I hate giving bad news. In fact, I would much prefer to be the developer and not have to give the bad news than to give the bad news. But it was just one of those kind of things where we're having this. So I had like meetings all day today. So the day started out where I had a meeting with the developers and the client this morning because it's a big deadline today. We have to get this big release done today. So we had an early morning meeting at 8:30. Just make sure everybody's on Zoom. Everybody knows what's going on. Okay, cool. Everybody knows what's going on. Yeah. So it was really was ideal because I didn't have a whole lot to do with it. I just need to make sure that everything's, just check up, make sure updates are happening, all that kind of stuff, right? It was kind of cush when it works that way. However, of course there were problems, and so I had other meetings with other clients, and I'm on Zoom, and then there's like little Slack notifications going off, and you do that kind of thing where you're like, you're listening, yeah, oh yeah, that is really interesting, and you're like, right, and they're saying stuff like, like the transaction database has been deleted, or our SMTP is failing for some reason, we can't figure it out, whatever. And you're like looking at the clock, looking at the deadline, looking at that, trying to listen, all that kind of stuff, and doing that, and you're just kind of doing that freak out type thing. What do you mean the SMTP server's not working? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, really? Okay, no, that would be cool. Yeah, now that's possible. What do you mean? And then you just kind of like going through all this kind of stuff, and it was just one of those kind of days. Well, those stressful kind of days, but we're near the end of it now, and everything's fine. I think everything's fine, although it might be one of those late nights. Anyway, so I had another meeting with somebody, and they said, so you're going to have to sort out all these issues for them. And I said, well, yeah, it's kind of my job. It's my job. It's the way I do it. If something goes wrong, you have to be the one who pushes everything. And it's definitely not glamorous, but it is what it is, right? And he says, are you being paid for that? And that's why it's not glamorous, because no, I'm not being paid for the extra time I'm putting in, but it's kind of the thing that you do. You kind of push it through and make sure everything goes. And as I was saying it, I think he was saying, so why would you even do this if you're not being paid for it? Like, why would you push this through? And mainly because it's my project. It's my accomplishment. I'm the one who is able to, the client's happy, the developers had a good work done, and it's very satisfying. And it's almost like, and the way I've been thinking about this, if you've ever run a marathon or a half marathon or climbed a mountain or whatever, you know that there's a point in it where you think, God, this sucks, right? I've run 2 marathons in my life, and I can just remember that point where like, oh God, when's this going to be over? When is this going to be over? And sometimes projects can be like that, right? And then you get to the end and you're like, I'm so glad I pushed through. I'm so glad I didn't walk. I'm so glad I kept going and all that kind of stuff. And that sometimes there are projects like that. So this is a very rambly video today, and I realized that. I think I just wanted to tell you guys, because a lot of you guys say you want to start your own software companies too, and I highly encourage you to. I mean, there's plenty of work out there for all of us, but by no means expect it to be glamorous all the time. Sometimes it's just hard work, and you set up systems, you set up things so that everything runs smoothly, and they don't always work, and you always have days like today. So anyway, but it's beautiful weather outside. We're in lockdown. I wasn't going to be doing anything anyway. So but I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I hope you have a fantastic week, and you're staying healthy and you're staying safe. And I'll talk to you again next time.